Hi, I'm Sari, and I have about 5 minutes to persuade you to become better consumers and to be more informed when you're going to the grocery store. I'm hoping by the end of this talk you'll be spurred to action so that when you go grocery shopping, your voice can be heard. I feel it's very, very important that we know what it is that we're eating and how food is brought to our tables. Now, I apologize in advance. I am going to use my notes a little bit more than I normally do, but I don't want to use hyperbole. I don't want to use spin, and I don't want to use doublespeak. What I want to do is present you with facts so that you will be spurred into action. So again, I am going to refer to them a little bit more because I just want to stick to facts. Food manufacturers use the image of farm life to sell us their food products. They use words like farm fresh, down home, and home style to sell us items that we think of as food, but in actuality are really just chemicals. The processed food that we eat is not really food. It's mostly corn. Corn has been re-engineered and redesigned to be used as a base, as thickeners, and as sweeteners. Here's a short list of food items you'll find in the grocery store that contain corn: peanut butter, jelly, cheese, Motrin, charcoal, and even diapers. When we buy this processed food, we're not really buying food, we're just buying chemicals and fillers. Our eating habits and what we eat have changed over the last 50 years, more than any other time in history. We're not even eating the same food as our grandparents. Now, is this a bad thing? Yes, it is. Obesity, diabetes, cholesterol, and heart conditions are on the rise. It used to be that only adults got type 2 diabetes, but now teens and children are getting type 2 diabetes. The Center for Disease Control estimates that after 1997, type 2 diabetes was on the rise. It used to be 1 in every 1,000 people might have it. Now it's 9 in every 1,000 people. E. coli outbreaks are on the rise, and they're on the rise especially in fast food. So let's talk a little bit about E. coli. E. coli is found in cattle and chicken guts. Usually when the cattle eat grass, that the acid in their stomach kills the E. coli. The E. coli then flushes out through the manure. But now that cattle are being fed corn, the E. coli is not being killed. Cattle are no longer being raised on those beautiful farms that we all think about. They're being mass-produced. They stand together in the thousands, usually knee-deep in manure, and that manure is full of E. coli. By the time the cattle get to the slaughterhouses, they've got E. coli all over them. When they're being slaughtered and their meat is being sliced, that E. coli gets into their flesh. Then it gets into us. The only way at this point you can really kill E. coli is by cooking meat for longer periods of time at higher temperatures than we're used to. Again, this is why fast food outbreaks happen so frequently. They don't cook the meat for a long time, and they certainly don't cook it at a higher temperature. Chickens are now being raised so that they are huge, and I mean huge. They are much bigger than the chickens that your grandparents ate. Chickens now being raised have breasts so big they cannot stand. They sit in the chicken coops by the thousands. Well, I guess they lay in the chicken coops by the thousands because they can't get up. They're in dark chicken coops laying there and laying in their own manure. Again, when they're being slaughtered, when their breast meat is being taken out of them, the E. coli gets into their flesh and then we eat it. Chickens are also raised with a lot of growth hormones and antibiotics. The growth hormones have made it so that chickens now can grow in 5 weeks instead of 3 months. Can you imagine? 5 weeks. They use antibiotics because of the E. coli and other bacteria. Some farmers are now allergic to all antibiotics because they handle so many chickens. Now, if they can become allergic to all antibiotics, so can you, and so can your children. So, what can we do about it? Well, there's a lot we can do about it. I want you to be informed, and I want you to understand that you use your voice every time that you go shopping. If we consumers say no more to growth hormones, no more to antibiotics, no more to mass producing our food, the system will change, just like it changed for the tobacco farmers. So here's what you can do. You can buy less meat. The American myth is that we need to eat meat every night. This is not true. Our forefathers did not eat meat every night, and our ancestors certainly didn't eat meat every night. When you do eat meat, try to eat organically, or at least see if there's somebody local that's raising their chicken and their beef without all the antibiotics and all the growth hormones. I know this costs more, but again, I'm not asking you to eat meat every night. And what does it cost when our kids get sick, when we get sick? It costs a lot more. Buy local fruit and produce. Support your farmers markets. Know that you can do things to change the system. Rethink our cost of food is a really good one. For instance, we look at a dozen eggs and think $3 for organic eggs? That's way too much. Well, it's not if you're standing there thinking about it, holding on to a latte, or if you've just got done eating from McDonald's or Burger King, you've spent a lot more than $3. A dozen eggs can go a long ways, and that can actually be a couple meals. I also want you to understand that the food manufacturers are out to make money at any cost. They don't care about our health, and really, neither does the government anymore. The funding for the FDA has been lowered. Slaughterhouses are now asked to self-regulate. The FDA no longer sends as many inspectors out as they used to. I couldn't find the exact numbers, but when I watched Food Inc. last night, I got really scared to find out that there used to be, let's say, 1,500, and now there's around 300. Washington is being lobbied by the food manufacturers, and they're being lobbied heavily. This is why we don't have warning labels on food that's cloned, genetically changed, or altered. Sorry. This is why we don't have labels on there, because they have lobbied it. Be informed. Be aware. Know that you can make a change. We have a voice. And we can vote every time we shop. We can vote to change the system. Thanks, and I hope I persuaded you.